Welcome, I am Norva Ragnor and this is my very first custom figure video. In this video I will be showing off the process I went through in creating my Mario and Gears of War crossover custom figure. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed creating this figure, which I look forward to adding to my ever growing collection. So, let's go! First thing with any custom is planning. After deciding on which figure I wanted to make, I went straight into that exact planning. I started with making some concepts. Using a Mario and Marcus image, I added the two together to get the look of the figure I was hoping to create. I added Mario's head to the armour of Marcus to give me a rough idea of how it would look. Once happy with the concept, I added Mario's iconic colouring. This gave me a rough idea of how the figure would look with the two different paint schemes. Being a Mario custom, I had to go with his paint scheme. I decided to make a quick poster, which followers of my Instagram would have seen before. Once planning was completed, the next move was the figures themselves. You can't have a Mario custom without the moustache Italian plumber himself. For this Mario figure, the only part I will be using will be the head. I'll use the body and other spare parts later on in a project connected to this custom, so stay tuned for that. But for now, his body will go into the spare parts box. These Super Mario figures are pretty awesome as they are. Definitely worth having if you are a Mario fan. Next up is the bulk of the figure, and I don't just mean in muscle mass. Sergeant Marcus Phoenix in his Gears of War armour. The figure itself is one of my favourites. The detail of this figure is incredible, but this isn't a review, so I'll hold back and all the figure detail will be painted over later on anyway. I chose this particular figure because it has great articulation on top of looking great. The Storm collectible Marcus improves on both detail and articulation from this figure, but is very pricey compared to this version. Both are great and must-haves for any Gears collection. Now, let's turn Mario into a gear. To create this figure, I needed to remove the heads from both figures. I find soaking the figure in warm water helps loosen the plastic and makes removing parts real easy and without doing any damage to the figure. Mario goes through the same process as Marcus. Soak the figure in warm water to loosen the head. I put the parts to one side to dry. Letting them dry after soaking in warm water allows the plastic to re-harden. Once dried, I take the parts needed and separate them from the spare. Now the heads have been removed, the figure is ready for the next stage in bringing it to life. The painting. I started using a new brand of paint, one I haven't worked with before, and I found it wasn't giving me the coverage I was after. The paint itself was too thin and wasn't covering what I needed to paint. I would have needed to add countless layers to get the look I was wanting to achieve. I mixed the new blue with my usual blue to get a vibrant blue which worked brilliantly to give off the denim blue look and a realistic cartoony Mario effect, one that I was trying to achieve. With the two blues mixed and giving me the perfect blue, I continued painting. This mixture gave me perfect coverage for what I needed, and a second coat was only needed in certain areas. I mostly use Citadel colour paints. I get great coverage from them with minimum layers needed. I use standard acrylics alongside Citadel to give me a wide range of shades and colours. And I can't get over how great this blue looks. Almost like it has come from the world of Mario itself. I've been a Gears of War fan for many years now. Like many Gears vets, I started back in '06 with the original Gears of War game. A classic icon for the 360 era. It was a game taken right from my childhood. The action sequences, the brotherhood, the one-liners, it was all like it was taken from a classic 80s action movie. Love it. I also collect all things Gears. I hope to show off my collection later on in the year. I have only recently gotten into custom painting in the last 2 years. I have made a few Gears customs as well as a horror figure custom, which I will hopefully be showing off as well as my other customs later on, so if you enjoyed this video, keep your eyes peeled. With every custom I make, I always try to improve on my skills as a painter. I'm not usually much of an artist. The best drawing I ever did was a Stickman wall. But creating customs has been a great way to express that creative side. I'm always looking at new possible custom ideas. Anything from canon style figures to the utmost far-fetched. Where do you think Mario would fit on this scale? Getting into all the areas of the figure is the most time-consuming part of painting Gears of War figures. NECA Toys, who make the Gears figures, do such a great job with these figures. The custom is coming along nicely and really starting to come together and look the way I made in the concept, which when making a custom is always a plus. It's nothing worse than making something you end up being unhappy with. With the torso painted, I decided to keep the cog symbol, the Crimson Omen, an iconic image that goes with the Gears series. This is supposed to be Mario in the world of Gears, so it would make sense his armour would be marked with the Omen, the same as every gear.
Shit!
To help give the lights on the armour a great visual effect, I used the technical Soulstone Blue by Citadel. It gives off reflective light effects really well, and I have used it previously for the lights on other Gears armour. It's such a small detail, but using this effect really gives the figure that finer detail that to me sets it apart from the standard figures. NECA only uses a standard blue paint for the lights, which doesn't give the same effect. The paint gives a reflective finish which really sells the appearance of glass, or in this figure's case, lights. Mario has cartoony bright brown shoes, and I wanted to replicate that with this custom. I managed to find the perfect shade brown, which gives off another cartoony finish, which is really helping the figure come alive. It's still got a bit of a way to go, but it's coming together nicely. I can't wait for it to be finished and up on display. I removed the packs from Marcus's belt to give the packs better coverage and not to risk getting unwanted paint on the figure. I painted the packs the same brown as the shoes and gave a bit of detail with a brass paint. With all the other paintwork finished, it's time to move on to the next part, the red undershirt of Mario's outfit. With the running theme of this custom, I wanted a bright red to go with the vibrant cartoony look Mario has while in the Mushroom Kingdom. I found the perfect red for it, and it goes perfectly with the other colours used. With the arms and neck painted, next was the yellow buttons or buckles on Mario's overalls. Unfortunately, my dumbass thought I had recorded the painting of the buttons. Instead, I forgot to press record on the bulk of the painting. So when I pressed record to stop recording, so I could finish the buttons properly, I actually pressed record. Amateurs, eh? The idea was to show me painting the middle part of the buttons, so I didn't make a mess on the bodywork. This is due to such a tight workspace I am using, where the camera setup and my position for painting are off at an angle, as you can see. This figure is really starting to come together. I'm really happy with the colours so far and how vibrant it's looking, just a few more parts to paint. The final part to paint on the body are the white gloves Mario wears. Finally, to make this figure complete, I added Mario's head to the body, and I am so happy with how this looks so far. I thought about whether or not to keep the armour as vibrant as it is, to keep with the cartoony look Mario has, or to give the armour a dark wash to give it that bit of grit and dirt that the Gears of War games are known for. I didn't want to tone down the vibrant colour, but I wanted to give it the impression that Mario has worn his armour during combat. After all, Mario has spilt his fair share of blood. So I added some steel paint marks and dry brushing to give off the effects of scratched and worn paint. With the added scratches, it really completes the figure, giving it the war-worn effect while keeping the cartoony vibrancy of Mario. I am really happy with how this one turned out. I decided to add Mario's M logo to the belt of the armour. And what would a Gear Soldier be without his trusty Lancer? So let's give Mario his own weapon. Thank you for joining me in my first custom making video and watching how I created my Mario Gears custom. I really enjoyed making this figure and I can't wait to see it in my collection and showing it off in my figure photography. I have been Norva Ragnor, and until next time, stay safe.